the row that has erupted over the caste census and the wealth redistribution survey. Now, at a time when polarization has returned to the forefront of the political battle, we ask the question, what does the Muslim community in India want? And compared to the previous elections, there has been political speeches which have reduced their focus on regional polarization, on the Hindu-Muslim divide. Now, while I carry forward this conversation, I'm going to get Shahid Siddiqui, who is a former member of the parliament, on the telecast with me. Shahid Siddiqui, thank you for joining me on the telecast. And I would like to start my question by asking you, how do you view in the last 10 years, particularly with regards to the affirmative action and the policy decisions that have been taken by the government of India in empowering the Muslim women, whether it is about allowing for Hajj for Muslim women without them being accompanied by a male representative from the family, or when we take a look at the criminalization of triple talaq, when we take a look at a number of these policy decisions and schemes and welfare projects, the likes of Mudra scheme, the likes of Ujjwala Yojana, the likes of Awas Yojana, when we talk about toilets, a large percentage of these scheme beneficiaries have been Muslim women as per the government data. Is this enough that has been done by the government? Can there more be done by the current government or the one that comes to power in 2024? And what more needs to be done?
Look, I do not represent Indian Muslims, so I have no business to talk on their behalf. But I think that what you have said makes India paradise for Muslims, and they don't need anything more. Everything has been done, so they don't need anything more. Enough has been done.
Okay.
Please don't do anything more. Enough has been done.
Okay. All right. I'm going
to do
to
anything for Indians, because there is so much unemployment for Indians. There's so much price rise for Indians, and the young people don't have jobs. The prices of petrol have skyrocketed. The economy is in bad shape. Young people are facing difficulties. Both Muslim, Hindu, Sikh, Christian, scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, everybody is facing problems. And therefore, Muslims are part of India, and as part of India, as young people in India, both men and women, they are facing problems.
Okay.
There are no jobs. The prices have gone so high that life has become so difficult for them.
Okay.
So let's talk about Indians, not talk about Muslims or Hindus.
Okay. So then when a political party talks about ensuring that there is a caste census that happens in the country if they come to power, when we talk about the wealth redistribution, and then speaking about reaching out or influencing these minorities, influencing these communities, is there a reason these political parties are doing so? Keeping in mind that
because our constitution talks about scheduled caste, scheduled tribes. Our constitution has given special rights to the minorities, to the backward, and to Dalits, and to the backward caste, as well as minorities. So there is nothing wrong. It is absolutely fine. We should all talk about it, because reservation has been given to our backward caste and our Dalits and others, and minorities have been given certain privileges under the constitution. So there is nothing wrong in that. Why do you think there is something bad about it?
Fair enough. Okay. I also want to discuss, and I was speaking with my other panelists in the previous discussion as well. How does a government decide? How do the policymakers decide? How do the policymakers decide for how long are these quotas to be provided to a particular caste or a community? To what percentage do these quotas and projects that are launched as an affirmative action be provided to them? And also, is there a decision that needs to be taken by the government of the day to ensure that after, say, maybe 75 years or 100 years or 150 years, these quotas are then going to be withdrawn because there has been enough that has been done for these backward communities, for these impoverished communities, and now they are at a level playing field as their alternatives in the country. Okay, we'll try to get him back on the telecast with us. Shahid Siddiqui was speaking with us. I'll request my team to get him back on the telecast with me. I also have with me Tahira Hassan. Tahira, good to have you on the telecast. And my first question about the caste census and the wealth redistribution survey, and why do you think there is so much noise and brickbats being exchanged between political parties over this ahead of the election season going on right now?
That is, I think whatever party comes in power, their responsibility is that make it access to all marginalized class. That is enshrined in our constitution, also Baba Sahib's constitution. We must get the constitutional rights. Naturally, the SC, ST, OBC minorities, they are still not up to the mark. So give them a level playground. Again and again I say, politically, socially, educationally, economically, then only you can say that now they can compete with the general quotas.
Okay.
So this is a thing only. That's why we say that these oppressed class must be given special schemes must be brought in for them.
So, ma'am, but then again, there was, when Mandal Commission came into being, there were countrywide protests, particularly by the youth, that were orchestrated. Now, again, with regards to the underprivileged, why can't a quota be provided to the people of the country who are unprivileged, who are underprivileged, who are impoverished, and why do we have to divide them on the basis of castes, on the basis of religion?
The thing is this, untouchability still exists. You have seen it, still you read in newspaper like Indian Express and all, that the boy touched the glass, the Dalit boy touched the glass, so that he was beaten by the teacher, like that. I mean, this is existing. So let it first eradicate of these type of practices. We can say the evil practices, First, eradicate these evil practices, give them equal playground, let them come equal to all citizens, because the constitution says that each and every citizen of this country must have access on health, education, employment, and dignity of life. Right to life does not mean that only you breathe. It means that you lead a dignified life. So I think that this is what is behind it.
Do you think the Muslim community in our country,
come up to us?
Do you think,
I mean, the creamy layer must not get any facilities, I'm saying. No.
And what happens to the people who have earned their position in an educational institution or in the job market simply because of the effort, the perseverance, their intelligence and their talent, and they still end up losing out because of the quotas that are then applied to the communities that end up getting those jobs and getting those seats and getting those educational institutions entry?
The special quota is given to them because they are coming from the remote villages. They are not privileged children. If they will not get this much facilities, how can you expect them to compete with other children? It's all round of the development of the entire country. It is needed. If the big chunk of the people are not in the main force, then how can you mainstream?
Okay, so you feel that there is no other way whatsoever except for providing quotas to students, to individuals, to communities, to bring them on a level playing field.
Coming from the oppressed class, not creamy layer I'm talking about. I'm talking about the oppressed class coming from the remote areas where the family is not educated. but children try to somehow or other get the education, school level, college level.
Okay.
And
Okay. Talking about the Muslim community in our country, do you think the minorities require quotas to then allow them to be empowered as an affirmative action that is required to then allow them to be given opportunities because they have, for some reason or the other, not been able to catch up with the rest of the population by way of education, by way of, I don't know, opportunities, by way of them having to face because of whichever reasons, because of the way they have been conditioned, because of the way their instruction, the method of instruction is applied?
Yeah, you're asking this question to me?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah. No, of course. No, I want Muslims are also citizens of this country. You know, they also must have access on the right to education. That is also enshrined in our constitution. I mean, give them a right. They should get a good education. They will come in the mainstream. Themselves, they will come in the mainstream. So this is more important, that there should be no discrimination and provide education for them. And again I say, Megha, that the Sachar committee and the Ranganath, especially I put my emphasis on Ranganath more than Sachar committee. Sachar committee was like a doctor diagnose it, but Ranganath give the solution for that. So implement it properly.
Okay. I'm going to give you.
All.
I'm also going to come up point out a number of these statistics and figures that I am bringing forth. There is Muslims have the highest fertility rate at 2.6 children per woman in 2015, followed by Hindus at 2.1. In 1992, Muslims had the highest fertility rate of 4.4%, followed by Hindus at 3.3. Over a period of 60 years, Muslim share of India's population has grown by 4%, while Hindu share has declined by about the same amount, which is 4%. Now, also talking about the literacy rate of Muslim women and men in India, which is the lowest at 51.9% and 62.41%, which comes to the average of 57.16% of the education that Muslims have in our country. Also talking about how the Muslim upper castes are poorer than the Hindu OBCs. The Muslims are concentrated in the bottom half of India's population, and the average consumption and asset values for Muslims are lower of the all India average of the Hindus. Now, having pointed out these statistics, ma'am,
yes,
what do you think should be the right way for our governments, for our policy makers to bring about correctives?
No, I think that the survey which has come by the National Family Survey, that showed that the fertility rate has decreased in Muslim also. And you know, the more children you find in both Hindu and Muslim, both who are, coming from the oppressed class, not literate, and where the illiteracy exists, where they produce more children. You can connect it like that. It is not like that only in the Muslim community there are more children. I have only one daughter. So many educated Muslims have 2 children or 1 children. Same with the Hindus also, Christians, 6. It's not, don't, put it in the bracket of the religion. It's nothing doing with religion. So it is only that provide them education, make them educated, and then so they can have access on the intelligence also. Even the Ambedkar has said that access of intelligence, there should be intellectualism is there, and the intelligence, education, finance. The women's access should also be made on these things. So only they can decide what they want, what is good, was their biological body is good. They will decide it. It is not like that you connect it with the religion. It's nothing doing with the religion.
It's got nothing to do with religion?
No, not at all.
Okay. I also have with me Feroz Bakht Ahmed. And Feroz Bakht Ahmed, the question about what the Muslim community in our country wants, what should be the priorities of the government to ensure that their well-being and welfare is taken care of? Okay, Tyra, I'll come back to you because Feroz is, I think there's an audio-video connection problem with him. He'll perhaps join us back on the telecast with us. Talking about, the previous 10 years that have passed under the BJP government, has enough been done for the Muslim community? I'm going to give examples of abrogation of Article 370, criminalization of triple talaq, Hajj without mehram for the Muslim women. There is the Ujjwala Yojana, Awas Yojana, toilets, Mudra Yojana, education for girls, where there have been a large number of Muslim women that have been the beneficiaries as per the government data that has been released. Is there action that is being taken by the government for the welfare? And are we in the right track? Are we on the right track to further improve the condition of the community in our country?
You're talking about the Muslim community?
Yes, ma'am.
Muslim community, it's true that many women have got the houses also, and Ujjwala Yojana also benefited them. But thing is this, the sense of security is also very, needed, The action must be taken against the hate speeches. This creates sense of insecurity, especially among the women. That should be taken in care. And the Pasmanda Muslims, we talk a lot about Pasmanda Muslims, but help them, they are in pathetic conditions. They are weavers, most of them. Provide them a cheap raw material, subsidize electricity, and the government cooperative shops must buy their goods. So the middleman will stop exploiting them. I think these are the few things that should be done.
Okay.
Otherwise, the government is on right track.
Okay.
They should do little more. The women and the Muslims will feel better and benefited.
Okay, ma'am. All right. Thank you so much for joining me on the telecast, sharing your views.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.